And Jeffrey is in the hospital.
All right, all right. Welcome back to my world here on the internet. Welcome to episode 5. Episode 5 is The Unsolved Mysteries. Miss Brenda and Miss Anna, they're going to run this today. You probably won't hear much from me because I'm not feeling too hot. So they really going to run the show today. I'm not going to be interjecting as much today. We're going to be discussing we're going to explore the theories and the speculations of the things going on in this case. And Miss Brenda's going to go ahead and take it away.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Today is episode 5. I'm here with Anna. Say hi, Anna.
Hello.
And today we're going to be
Give it up
talking
for
about.
Brenda and Miss Anna. Give it up for Brenda and Miss Anna.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Now, episode 5 is about unsolved mysteries, meaning the mysteries that were surrounding Dulce's vanishing act. Now, what were some of the what was the main theory that everyone had was that she was sold over. That's a lot of people were. That's everyone, mainly 90% of the community came up with. For this, they're still saying it, but one of the main theories was and speculations that happened to her was that Noema had sold her over. Remember that was
Yes.
one of the main things because it just didn't look right. She was sitting there at the park
Yep.
in the car, scratching her lottery ticket, helping her sister complete homework, while she let two kids run to the park, which everybody was like, "Oh, she was as the park was from where she was to the park was like as big as a football field, right? Because that's what everybody was saying. Oh, it was as big as this football field, and they made this big thing like she couldn't see. So then that's why a lot of the community was saying that she had sold her over, right? And this
Yep.
is like in the very first days. But what was LE thinking? Law enforcement was thinking she was stuck in the bushes somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why they didn't execute the 911 call right away because they thought she was stuck in the bushes somewhere,
Wishes.
right? In the brushes. That's what he said, brushes, right?
Yes.
She was entangled. So that was their theory in the very first couple days. That's what they thought. That's what they're leaning on because that's what they're saying that is the reason why the Amber Alert maybe would have been executed late. Although that's what they said, right? But what were the witnesses saying? The witnesses were saying that she was taken
Yep.
in a red van with a sliding door and that they seen her getting buckled in into the seat. Those are real strong details too. Like that's something to say. Seeing somebody get in the car and then actually giving descriptions, detailed descriptions on how they got in the car, what side, how the door was closed, the seatbelt being put on.
Yeah.
That was very descriptive. Anyway, so so then that's when the half of the community was thinking she was sold, the other half was thinking she drowned in the raceway, right? The raceway. That's why they had drained out the
Right.
raceway. And then, and there really was no evidence indicating Ellie's theory
Right.
that she was entangled in some brushes and that she possibly could have rolled and drowned. Cause roll, that's why I was saying it a lot. People needed to go into that area and take a look at it because it's not like how people are actually saying it. They think that, oh yeah, you could tuck and roll and you're gonna land in the water. No, it's well we go there all the time. You could tell you can't just roll into the water. It's very
You have to be at the edge
it's
to
yeah,
get into that water.
right, like really close to the water. So there was really no no clues or evidence indicating what Ellie was saying,
Right.
right?
Yep.
Just like there was really no evidence or clues that she was sold, like the community was saying, but there was evidence of being taken,
Right.
and one of them was the dog. The dog. Okay.
Y'all look rejuvenated.
Podcast. Yes, you look real handsome.
Oh, I thought it was one on.
So anyway, so then there was evidence of, because of the dog. The dog sat behind the building and indicated to them that she was taken in a vehicle. It
Yeah.
didn't go directly to the water to say that she was drowned or stuck in there. It literally sat and pointed towards the direction of leaving the park.
Right.
So that was a major clue. And then that was done the next day,
Yeah, it was-
the 17th
Yes.
in the morning. But we still didn't get that Amber Alert till later on, almost towards midnight.
9:45.
Yeah.
10 o'clock.
So, and there still wasn't no evidence that indicating that she was sold either. But like I said, there's still enough clues and evidence of her being taken. And then that's when the FBI Gabarant came in and he said it was a possible stranger abduction. Right?
Yeah.
That was his theory. That's his theory. It was a stranger abduction. Right? That it
Opportunist.
wasn't
It
an
was
opportunity.
opportunist.
Because it didn't necessarily mean that Dulce was the target.
Right.
Right? That was what he said. That's what he said. Those are his words. He said that it was Dulce possibly was not the target. That person could have already been there waiting for an opportunity for a child, and Dulce was just more open and available. So then he went and he did a couple of news presses and said that like case references,
Right.
because every case you can reference it with other cases. There's not one case that you cannot never reference it with another case. There's always anyway. So he said that he had 3 cases that he references Dulce's case with. Okay,
Why?
none of it made sense, but
Yeah.
okay, here they are. Elizabeth Smart, J.C. Duggard,
Eh.
and Stephen Stainer. And the only reason why he said that all 3 of those cases he matches with Dulce is because after decade or something like that, they returned home. So you really have no solid other cases.
How about Amber?
But none of these were like solid enough. And then when you start digging into these cases, right? Because come on now, you pull 3 names out of the sky, right? Because it could have been Ariel Castro,
They were older girls.
but
She was 5 years old.
right, but Ariel Castro just was just a stranger to these girls, abducted them or
We
whatever.
knew one girl.
And then from the neighborhood, and then he kept them in the house in the neighborhood, on or around the same places. And he was real popular anyway. Those were his theories, his thing, that it was a stranger abduction or an opportunist.
Right.
Because Dulce came and he seeked the opportunity in taking her, right? So these were the names. Anyway, so when you dig into these cases, because you're not just going to say, okay, these 3 right here is
Nothing.
because why? Because they came back home 10 years later or so? No. Because Elizabeth Smart, she was kidnapped by a religious man.
Right.
Okay? A religious man that wanted 7 wives. Okay? Now, J.C. Duggard, she was also kidnapped by a guy who was already done evil, but then he turned religious, and his whole demeanor of being religion was overpowering to him, and he also wanted. Yes, he was also getting that power, and that he had his wife, but he said she was brought to him so she could bear his children, and blah, 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 so she had kids with him, right?
Right.
Religious man. Same Nyonya. Stephen Stainer. Guess what?
Same thing.
Same thing. It was 2 guys in a car, right? And Stephen was passing out flyers or something like that. I don't recall if it was Stephen that was passing out flyers or the two gentlemen was passing out flyers. Either way, they got there. It was religious.
Right.
They got him in the car, and they acted like they was gonna go talk to his dad, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then as he was leaving, they asked him, "Did your dad ever hurt you?" Because in God's eyes, blah blah blah. And these was religious men. And what did they do? Once he said to them that yeah, that his dad did hurt him one time, they just kept going, so they kidnapped him. What did they take him for? Same thing, except he couldn't bear children, but it was still the same route.
Right.
You know, to be used for their gratifications. When and each and every one of these cases, every time they eluded the police, they thank God
Right.
that they was able to escape the police. So they thought, okay, this is God. God is what's doing this, right? And this is all three cases. All
Right.
three cases. All three of them did the same exact thing. And yeah, they all came years later or whatever, but how can you, that's practically every missing person almost in America that you could have pulled names out of the sky and then said, that's how I'm going to base Dulce's case on. And none of these were in a park, for
Right.
one. None of them were around 5 years old, two,
Yep.
okay? And then, what else about that? Nothing. None of it was like, none of it.
Right.
None of
They
it
were
made
all
sense.
older. They were all older.
Right, they were all older, correct?
She
But
was
like,
only 5.
right,
So there's no comparison with her case and that case.
to none of them, unless we're doing the religious part of it. Unless, I mean, because there's so much out of those three cases. I've watched, well, we all watched the Elizabeth Smart story
Yeah.
when she did it on the, when she had that movie.
Yeah.
I forgot what it was called. And, okay, that guy, he was religious, yes, correct. He changed himself to even be more religious. And remember, he ran into them downtown, he bumped
Yes.
into them, and he needed
Yes.
a job, right?
Yep.
So then the parents got them to do the job. But he already knew what he wanted. He was looking for an extra wife.
Right.
So the only way to get the extra wife was to ask for work.
Right.
And then he ran into her, which that
Yep.
was around her.
Mm-hmm.
And her father was what, like a contractor or something like that?
Yeah.
And they hired him to like do stuff around the house, like lawn care and all that stuff. Anyway, they gave him a job or whatnot. And with her too, how they had her, they were so close in finding her, yet again they didn't go high enough where she was camping out, where they had her camping out up
Right.
there on that hill somewhere. So, I'm here on an hour. So, need 45 minutes.
45 minutes more.
Anyway, so then they was up on a hill. That's where he had her, and then that's where he left her. They went and they got food or whatever.
Yep.
And then J.C. Duggar, he had her. He built a shed or something in the back of the house.
Or in the shed.
And kept her in the shed. She bore her children in there until she got out, and then he kind of like brainwashed her too. Got out. She thought that that was like what God wanted her to do. But I mean, I understand it because she was there for a very long time.
Right.
She had all these kids and stuff like that with him. Anyway, Stephen was the same thing. I don't think that they built anything for Stephen. Stephen was in the house, but you know what Stephen used to do?
What?
Once Stephen used to lure children to them, to these men.
Wow.
Okay, that's really the only difference with the Stevens case is that he was using, they were using him after they got him in there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Then they were using him to lure other children to these people. And I believe that that's why he was the one that was able to escape, because then, you know, I guess he just wasn't like liking her or whatever. But anyway, those were some of the theories that was going on, you know.
Yep.
And then when the documentary came out, his theory kind of changed, and he was like
Mm-hmm.
that place was too high profile. That the place was too high profile for what is that, a tier, a three, an offender, right?
Right.
to reoffend again. So I'm like, how? Because I mean, like, they're there all the time, anyways. But those are, those are some of the things that um, people were debating. And still, some people still think that she has done something to her, although there's still no actual nothing
There's nothing.
saying that that actually happened. But it's still early on in the game for them anyway,
Right.
and they're always gonna be sticking to. They don't really say anything, so we really don't. They just let the community talk or whatever. But we do know that their theory in LE with Gamari, that theory was gone
Right.
because there literally was no clue telling you she was in the river. That's why they wasted so much time. They wasted so much time in the park that they didn't expand their network out. So then like that they're able to find her.
Right. Right.
That they're able to find her. That's what was there? They're like 3 or 4 days. I believe that anyway that took a lot of time, and it was because like he said he thought she wandered off,
Right.
although none of it was still saying that someone physically, like told you, you know, because the same day when they send out that bolo, right?
Yep.
They already had a description of a male,
Yep.
so like she couldn't have went walking by herself. She couldn't have rolled into the river and drowned.
Right.
She couldn't have been stuck in the brushes, because there was really nothing that pointed to that. That's what I'm saying. I think that was a lot of time wasted because nothing really was pointing to none of that of her being in the water.
Yeah.
Which that was like a little bit weird, but okay.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because, hey, or whatever. But there was a lot of clues telling you that she was taken. Though.
Right.
There was a lot of factual stuff telling you that she was taken. That's why I was still not understanding why did they waste so much time. Because even in the beginning, right, that they stated that maybe they was doing like a criminal investigation also, right? So let's just say that that's what they were doing. So if you thought that Dulce was in imminent danger, you should have still put in that Amber Alert right
Right.
away.
Of course.
Because, you know, you had enough to do an Amber Alert. You
Right.
did not have enough for your theory of drowning in the raceway
Right.
or stuck in some brushes, you know. And we're not detectives, so we don't really know how they base everything together and how they do everything. We just know that from you follow and then you listen to them talking. You're always listening to them talking because that's when it's good is when they're talking. That's like with Gamari when he said it in the what is that in the documentary that like they found the guy that was behind the building. They spoke to him, but like it didn't seem like it was an immediate something that happened.
Right.
Like, like they didn't speak to him immediately, and I'm wondering, like, okay, and then these are questions that still arise to me, but some people say, oh, okay, yeah, you can let it go. But anyway, like, did he come forward? Like right away, or
Right.
did you guys have to go locate him? Because like when you gotta go locate somebody there was in the middle of a crime happening,
Mm-hmm.
you would think like, you know, why did I have to come look for you? I mean,
Right.
whatever. I mean, maybe he doesn't watch TV or whatnot, but I mean, by now everybody would have known.
Right.
I think just
I knew by 5:15.
yeah, because I'm telling you, I was on my way to go to work, but when I seen it on TV, I knew somebody took her, because it was just like. But then, and when I did say it, I said it had to be somebody who knows the area as well. Because, like, come on now. The person had to have known each in and out from that park. There's no way that person was able to go in there, a rookie. Because, that's what they always call people who are brand new to the game of anything. Like, or you're a rookie cook.
Right.
You don't know how to cook, or you're a rookie at bacon. You know what I mean, or sewing, whatever.
Right.
Or rookie as in a detective, and all that stuff. Anyway, so it had to been a rook. It couldn't have been a rookie who was new to the area, didn't know the in and outs of that park, because one wrong turn you can literally face a police officer.
Right.
You're down the street from
Well, they're not straight down the street from the
a courthouse.
police station, but
Right.
the courthouse is right around the corner.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So there was really, you know, everything that they gathered within the first 2 days of that happened to her. It none of it still stated that she wandered off in the park.
Right.
It was very clear head on that she came in contact with a guy and the guy was the one who took her.
Right.
But when I was thinking about that 911 call, when Noema stated that witnesses told her that somebody knocked Manny's ice cream down on the ground, right? And then that's
Yep.
why then Dulce went behind the buildings, that they seen her running away behind the buildings, right?
Yep.
So somebody knocked his ice cream down on the ground, and then
She went right.
probably he left, like he was maybe walking up that way and she was running with him or whatever. Or he probably promised her again an ice cream for him.
Right.
I wouldn't know, how would you have gotten her back there?
I don't know. Maybe he did it and she got mad. Because
And that's my theory. My theory is that the person was there. Okay. Well, there was two. Either, just like the FBI stated, this person was already there, so he already knew, he was looking for somebody. Or Norma was followed to the park and didn't realize that she was being followed to the park. And, cause see, when you enter into the park, the way she came into the park, right? He could have followed her all the way until she made that left right there. In the zoo you make the left, right? And you're on Scholastic, and then you're about to make the left because then you're gonna go into her parking lot. But what if this person just kept going down Scholastic because he already seen she was going to the park,
right.
went out onto West Avenue, then came back down Burt Street,
Maybe.
seen the opportunity that Dulce was now by themselves.
Right.
And it had to be somebody. I mean, it was broad daylight, dude. Like, that was super fast.
They have some guts to do that.
But I always say that if they did follow her to the park, that would make sense. They followed her through the park, right? Because she said she went over that little bridge or whatever. And then she made that left onto Scholastic.
Right.
And then when she went to go make that left, that's when they realized maybe she is going to the park. So then they just continued going on Scholastic, off to make a left onto West Avenue. Then you turn back again into the park through Burt Street.
Right.
Right? Then you go all the way to those side buildings, which you can't see not a damn thing. And they were probably there watching or whatever. And this is only if it, if it was someone who was following her there.
Right.
Nobody knows that for sure. If that was somebody that was following her there, that would be more logical into their route, like going into the park, following her, then coming off onto Scholastic, going off onto West, making a left onto Burt, going all the way behind the buildings, and then waiting for Dulce to be by herself. Because at some point, kids are always going to be kids. They're not going to stay in the area where you tell them to. You could be right there, and they're still not going to stay there.
Right. Right.
So maybe waiting for the opportunity for. Then this guy comes, knocks his ice cream down on the ground.
That's a possibility. I think it was just a stranger person. She didn't know the person. Maybe know somebody
Right, that's what I'm saying.
related.
Yeah,
But
that's what I'm
I
saying.
don't believe that.
No, I'm saying if somebody followed her from over there, from like the
people follow me all
stores.
the time when I go
I
there,
know.
and they just keep on going straight.
I-
So they could be going to the football field, or they
Right.
could be going to where the basketball courts are. Think nothing of it.
Hmm.
You know.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe she
Yeah.
didn't think nothing of
Right.
it. Like,
She probably maybe she was followed.
right,
Maybe they didn't go all the way out to West Avenue because then you have the high school which has cameras and you have West Avenue. So you
right. So
might
they
want
would
to
cross
go
behind her.
right. So he's gonna pull in there and he just kept on going.
Going, true,
Go
true.
around, park that
And park behind the
van.
buildings.
I wish I had a picture of
That is true. And then
the
park
park.
behind the building.
Yep. Yep.
And she really doesn't pay attention. Well, back then she really. I mean, who pays? Well,
I don't pay.
sometimes
Well,
the
I
business
always
pays
pay
me.
attention.
It
Because that's
depends.
Bridgeton.
Well, yeah,
Bridgeton's
that's what I was
not
about
a
to
nice
say.
area. They
That's what
can
I was about
say
to say. It
whatever.
depends.
But,
Depends where you're at that you gotta
Yeah.
pay attention. Like if somebody following me, and usually, yeah, when we go to Bridgeton, I'm always looking like, okay, whose car is that behind us, and why? Been
Yeah.
behind us for quite a long time.
yeah, I used to live there, so yeah.
But I'm just saying, if somebody seen her, right? Because we don't really know who entered into the store or not, right? Like
Right.
we don't know the people before she got there. We don't know if there was people or well, not the gentleman that was in the store, not the guy in the yellow shirt, not the well, because even that guy who was walked in and was looking at Dulce like a snack,
Mm-hmm.
everybody was like, that was him. Remember?
Yep.
Because the way he was looking at her,
Yeah.
we still don't know if maybe if he picked up the phone and said, "Hey," because
They
he
said
would have
that
heard
they
the
went. They talked
conversation.
to everybody that was in that store, supposedly.
But let's just say the
And they
person was
cleared them.
sitting in the parking lot. They just went into the store and they're still sitting in the parking lot, either eating their food, drinking their drink, on their cell phone. How many times do you actually? Sometimes we sit at the damn Wawas
yeah.
after we.
No. There's someone downstairs. I want someone to go to my van.
Yeah, they're in the living room. But sometimes we'll sit in the Wawa's parking lot, even for like an hour and something. Like we don't have no life.
Yeah.
But that's just us, and then there's other people that would possibly do the same thing. Anyway, so that was always my thing. If someone did follow her to the park, you know, and waited for the time to take her, but they also knew of the park, like, cause the park you have to know of the park. Anyway, and then the other one was that since Dulce frequented the park a lot with her family, not only just her mother, but with her family, was there already somebody at the park noting that and knowing that she's always there at the park and became familiar with her just like she became familiar with him
Right.
and established a relationship maybe because he had brought family. Oh, and then maybe he brought his kids there. But you remember when Melanie sent us that screenshot of the neighbor app about that person that said that her husband's a trucker
Mm-hmm.
and that her niece was playing with Dulce under the 45 minutes of her being taken? Remember within the 45 minutes of her being taken. So, like, who was that person?
Right.
And still,
You can never find them.
never find who the hell they are. But we do know that for one, the husband's a trucker. Did post on the neighborhood app
Right.
on one of the missing flyers of Dulce. And then we know that her niece was playing with Dulce during that time.
Right.
So that person, that child,
Mm-hmm.
that lady, that man, you know, like, hello. When it comes, that means that they were, that bothers me with that because that means that they seen that. That child
Mm-hmm.
seen that and it was a girl.
But are they lying?
I don't know. Could have been the little girl that was on the basketball courts with the other witness.
Right.
But she mentioned it like if it was her brother. I gotta go look back on the thing because.
You just wanna go tomorrow?
Mhm.
'Cause,
So yeah. So it could have been them. It could have been. It could have been that there was more kids there and Norma didn't know about it.
Mm-hmm.
But Norma did state that she seen the two kids come out, the same ages as Dulce and Manny. So that's what I'm saying. Like, that's a big, because like if they did follow her, that still wouldn't even make sense. Unless I still think that there's two people involved. I don't think this person worked alone. That's just my stuff. Because like literally, you have to be looking out. I mean, it's so populated in there,
And that day was
and
not
then it looked
populated.
normal. It looked so freaking normal that people didn't even know that there was a kidnapping.
Right.
People didn't even know this child was getting abducted because there was no indications that she was being taken. The only thing that they seen was the ice cream
Right.
being knocked down, right? And that Dulce ran behind the buildings. And that at the same time, the black guy was walking behind the buildings
Right.
at the same time. It just still doesn't make sense. But okay, that's the triangle that we have.
Yeah.
But anyway, so if she wasn't followed there, that was one of my theories. And yours and a few other people. It was that he was already there, so he was an opportunist, just like the FBI guy
I believe that
said.
he was opportunist. I really
That he was
believe
already
that
there.
He was already there watching.
Well, yeah, because when she pulled up, she said those two kids was holding hands, walking around about. They weren't leaving the park because that's where everybody was like, "Oh," but she said they were leaving the park, so you would have seen the father or the uncle or something. No, she said they were going around the park, like Well, you have to be in the park. I'm over here making lines like people
Yeah.
can see us, but you can go around the basketball courts and then go to the other side over there, and people do that all the time. They walk through there. Now those kids walk through there. Now at the same time that Noima's watching those two kids walking through the basketball courts, right? Was that the same time that they were taking Dulce?
Right.
So they sent, because those two kids and that male still hasn't appeared yet. Because those two kids are linked to the suspect.
Right.
So that's my
moving
other
forward.
theory, that he sent them to go around so they wouldn't see the other guy. Well, the other let's just like, okay, so my theory is the two men, right? One is that she got followed there, the other one is this one. So there's two guys there, two cars. One of them has the two kids, obviously. So that guy sends his two kids to walk around while he's placing Dulce in that other person's car and the other person's leaving.
Right.
Because if you were taking a child with two other kids in the car, then, how would you get those two kids to be quiet?
Yeah. I don't think that. I don't think those kids were involved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that they were just at the park and they felt they seen the guy and feel like uneasy. That's why they walked around. Maybe.
but they
Could be
had
wrong.
those two kids linked
Right.
to the suspect,
Okay. Well.
to the sketch. Remember, because they said they weren't gonna say he was a suspect. They was just labeling him as a witness to a crime. That's so odd. So then that means that there was somebody else back there, because first of all, we got two descriptions. And unless he could be like Superman and turn around and change his outfit real fast, and they can never answer you clearly if it's two separate occasions as either. Like, they can't say the reason why we're giving you two different descriptions is because it was two different occasions. There was a witness that said that they seen the same individual there last week with that kind of clothing on.
Right.
Like, get it together, like.
They screwed up.
So he was there. He sent those kids to go around. He sent those kids to go around just to distract them from seeing what he's about to do with Dulce while he's putting her in another vehicle.
Right.
But that was a red van possibly, because somebody in the basketball court said that they seen them putting her. And remember how they said it was two guys? I don't know if you remember in the beginning,
Yeah, because 911 said two guys, a black and a Spanish guy.
but that they seen her, like, in near the van there was two guys. Remember that they were saying that. So I'm telling you, they sent those little kids around to go around to distract them from what he was about to do. So that guy belongs to those two kids. They were already there when um when she was pulling up. And then she said that they didn't want to wait in the car. They were impatient. Kids are gonna be impatient. Don't nobody want to sit in the damn car
Right.
and wait for nobody to finish doing anything anyway. And it was really at the vision view. Like you could clearly see the whole park from where you were at, except something she would have to live with for the rest of her life.
Yep.
She kept them eyes off too long. She kept them down too long.
Yep.
Uh, anyway, so that's one of my things that I said. If that person was there at the park and they were seeking the opportunity, right? And like Gabrielle said, it Dulce didn't necessarily have to be the target. What about if it was that little kid that was at the basketball courts? She was there with two older people.
Yeah.
But what about if she left from there and she went to go play in the swing?
Right. He was probably eyeing somebody, anybody's kid.
He was eyeing something that day. And then I say they did it on a real big, busy day as well. There was no mayor there. The mayor was in Atlantic City doing a conference. The roads were busy because it was National Mexican Independence Day, so they were already being kept busy. The city workers were off that day, so at that time there was no city workers there. And if there was, like if they were working, they probably would have maybe seen something because they're always there about that time,
Right.
packing up, ready to go. And then school let out early as well, so it was a half a day. So if the person was there and he was seeking the opportunity, either way, he still had to know in the area, but he utilized those two children to cause a distraction
Right.
to them, even themselves, while because it happened that fast.
Right. I'm gonna blink of an eye.
Yep. That's how fast it happened. Like, it was literally a snatch and go. Like, you knew the parent was occupying the car. You counted your seconds. You got up to a minute, and you noticed, wait a minute, this person's really not coming out. It takes you nothing but 30 seconds to throw a damn kid in the car
Yep.
and go. So they still haven't found that guy from the sketch, nor the two kids. So that still goes to show that that person was working alone, because if those kids are able to hold the secret and say that that girl was in their car, but how would they know anyways? Because they don't say too much of her in school, so you wouldn't even know if anybody's seen her in their homes if you're not even
Right.
at least bringing up the subject to kids. Anyway, so in the criminal profiling, I would say that either if she was not followed there from the store by somebody either who knew her, right,
Or of her.
or of her, or
just seeing her picture.
or there was just somebody sitting out in the car and was like, because you have people that follow you home too. I mean, you have them all the time.
Oh yeah.
So if somebody even followed her, just with a wicked mind, just to even know where she was going, where is she going with
Right.
with those kids,
Right.
you know? But either way, the person knew when to strike, because that clearly was way too fast. And like I said, the person needed to know about the park, because there's no way you could there's no way that you would know. And then you still left the park when there's cameras there.
Right.
That's the other thing that I'm not understanding. Like, did he go through a twilight zone to elude the cameras while he was leaving?
You probably
They
went
worked
to
him
the
out.
back where the zoo is.
You don't think they have cameras over there?
Not that time. They didn't
I
start
don't know, I
doing
just
cameras
think
until after she went
I
missing.
think that the zoo literally should have cameras.
Well,
Like
yeah,
he's saying,
but at that time, I don't think they had cameras.
at least something because
Not
of some.
facing the streets.
Well, they don't even have freaking cameras over there. Like, that's what I'm saying. They don't have enough. This is probably why he said she was stuck in the brushes because they didn't have enough video footage of a car leaving maybe the area, which you would still be able to get it,
Well, why didn't they check Upper Deerfield? That's filled with cameras. All those stores.
right? Because
Wow,
if you're going up to where is that,
yeah,
uh,
it has
where the
all those
Sunset Lake is
everywhere.
at,
Yeah,
and then you make a right. There's you're going right into the to like where Home Depot or whatever the hell that is around there. All these
there's all
Wawas,
Ollie's. You
Ollies.
got Wawa. You got like, uh, just well, Rite Aid. You got those 4
Mhm.
corner stores. You got the Wawa, the Rite Aid, and I think that was Walgreens at the time. And there was a gas station.
But they went to instead. They said that they went to Broad Street. Oh wait a minute. They went to Broad Street Liquors,
Mm-hmm.
right?
The
They went to
7-Eleven.
C Mart, right? 7-Eleven.
Mm-hmm.
And they went to that gym, that Max Fit gym crap that's
Oh,
right
yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
What it's
Why
called,
didn't
Max
they go
Fit.
straight past?
Because
Well, that they have probably have a camera, so they probably thought that they covered over there. But there's another street that Old Deerfield Pike goes right out, and there's no stores or nothing.
yeah, but the person would have again had to have known that
Right.
that's the exit way
Mm-hmm.
to get out because they would want to go out through where there was no camera,
Right,
where they weren't leaving a paper trail.
right.
So they wouldn't just like go straight out. You're first of all, you're passing 2 schools,
Right. Yeah. The high school and the West Avenue Elementary School.
and we're just gonna go and saying that that was maybe the exit way because of how the dog sat.
Right.
Right.
But the dog didn't sit at the corner. It just sat.
And
where
pointed his nose
it
that way
point-
towards
just-
West
just
Avenue.
Sat. So that means that when they sit, they're just saying that she was taken
Right.
by vehicle. Doesn't say, oh, she's going to make left or right.
Right, but I learned that when Trent asked to ask her which way was the dog's nose pointing, and she said towards West Avenue. So it wasn't like, I think he said like north maybe or whatever the hell it is. I don't know. I have to look back on my messages. Anyway, so it wasn't like he sat and was pointing towards
I'm not sure about that.
Scholastic Drive.
Because the dogs cannot. Once you put that
That's
person
what-
into that van, their
That's what
scent
he-
is no longer there
That's what he
because
has
it's
said.
closed in. They go by scent in the air. This is scent dogs. That's why they're called scent dogs.
That's what he has said. He said that there's other indicators. So I was like, okay. So that's what she said.
Well, I'm gonna have to go on my groups and ask.
So-
Can a dog detect which way?
Yeah,
The
they even
person
did it in
goes if
the
it's by
they
a
even did it in
car.
the Summer Wells case.
Yeah, but the dog just sat there. They don't know which way that they went.
And then they said that they used their noise their noise their nose as a pointing guidance of where the smell of the direction is going.
I'm gonna look this up
Look
right
it
now
up.
because
We've already been speaking about this for quite some time.
I already did my research. I think they're wrong
They're always wrong, girl. Anyway,
because I'm on these groups that are professional search and rescues.
well, they need to come out here and help us. So maybe like anyway, so if he was there, whatever, seizing the opportunity, like I said, he would still have to have known the park thoroughly, either him or the person that was taking her, right? Because if he stood behind, because he was waiting for those kids to come back around the basketball courts, right? Then the other person would had already been long gone. So they went to get footage from Broad Street Liquors. And then I think that they said in Maxfit also was because
Right.
somebody was going there to the gym or something like that, and they said that they thought that somebody that matched the description also with the van was going there as well. So that was another thing because I think they did a news thing on that one. Because you know how they, what is that? When they were, remember when they was doing that news thing in the park, and then she was walking like through that alley,
Right. Yeah.
and then everybody was thinking, well, maybe she was taken out that way
Mm-hmm.
because it was that was how they was walking her with the files and all of that stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know if it was just maybe for news action or it actually something was going on through there.
There it goes.
So anyway, so like I said, there really wasn't enough to indicate that she was in the water. Everything was pointing to that she was led out away from the park. So she was taken away from the park, although they still spent countless times in the park
Right.
trying to find her when I believe they should have executed their manpower
Mm-hmm.
and said and separated all their men
Right.
and said, here, somebody does this and you do that and then you do this and had been in sync with each other.
Right.
Right? Because like hell 911, how may I help you? What was her words that she was saying?
Well, they're
She's
looking for a
saying
dispatcher
somebody
now.
told me somebody probably took her because they seen two men, two pairs of men, because that's how she said it.
Right.
That they saw two pairs of men, right? Meaning two,
Yeah.
right? They seen a Hispanic male with two kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
The same two kids probably she saw,
You see black guy.
and that they seen a black guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then what happened?
You think she lied?
But that's not what she said.
So now what you saying that the black guy did it?
No, no, I'm saying in the 911 call, that's what she stated that people told her
Right.
that there was two pairs of men because that's how she said it, not that there was two guys, that there was two pairs of men, right? There
Mm-hmm.
was a Hispanic guy with two kids, and then there was a black guy, and we already know that the black guy was the one that was seen crossing the back of the buildings at the same time she was seen running, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which in the documentary Gamari stated that he already spoke to him and he was what? Ruled out or
Right.
whatever.
Ruled out.
But nobody's ruled out yet, like how he always be saying. So, like, okay. Anyways, but that's what the witnesses said, right?
Right.
See, but the funny thing about it is that a black guy could be a Hispanic guy. A black guy could be uh, somebody from England. A black guy could be any type of race because you know what is black.
Yeah, well, that's true because sometimes when we say Hispanic male,
Mm-hmm.
and I hear it a lot, where they say, oh, well, it could have been a white guy with like a tan
Right.
type of thing. Because how many times did I not hear that already?
Right.
Even Trent even said it when I mentioned the Hispanic guy. He was like, oh, he could have been a white guy, and I'm
Could
like,
have had his hand, but this song
right?
is
How
just
many
over.
people, when we say the men that were described, right,
Mm-hmm.
almost say the same thing. Well, it could have been a white guy,
Right.
and I'm like, okay, like that's you hear it a lot, so you start to think a lot,
Right.
you know, maybe, but not necessarily saying that yeah, and they could have they did speak to him though. So the only person that they have not spoken to yet has been the sketch. So they have not spoken to the guy in the sketch that was there with 2 kids. Okay? There was there with 2 kids. And like that's a big ass freaking piece of evidence.
Right.
A clue, like a blues clues. Like a blues oh, oh, blues clues. You know, like was there a paw print? No, because like literally, like dude, if the Hispanic male, the sketch, was there with 2 kids, right? And when I asked Emma, was they like, did they have school uniforms on? You know, because I wasn't around here at that time, so I don't know if there was a half a day. Was there a half a day for your kids in Violin that
Bridgeton
day?
had a half a day.
But not Violin?
No, wait a minute. I don't know about Bridgeton. No,
Bridgeton
Violin
did
did
have a half a day.
Right,
We're
you
talking
said
about
it.
what about the Violin or Millville? Because think about it, their school time and them coming out, what,
Bridgeton was on strike.
3:30, 4 o'clock? Yeah, you did mention
They
that.
started a week late
Right?
because of the teachers.
Because they were on strike.
Yeah.
Okay, so Norma said that they had regular clothes on, right? The 2 kids that were seen exiting out the park. So then that's why I was like, then they did belong to Bridgeton because Bridgeton had a half a day. Because if they're coming from Violin and Millville, they're on school uniforms as well.
Yeah, at that
And
time.
unless
they
a
were.
child missed school that day, would only reason why they had street clothes on
Right.
versus school clothes on, right? Because then they had time to change. But if you look at the times when kids start coming out of school
Right.
at 3:30, 4 o'clock, they're not going to be up there that fast in 10, 12 minutes from Violin or Millville to Bridgeton.
Right.
So, like, did they lock down
They only locked down
the children? Not lock the school down, but I'm talking about, like, did they monitor attendance in the schools?
Oh.
Did they monitor to see if the next day or so did 2 kids that matched to the same description did not attend school? Did they lock down the school system in attendance to see that? And also on top of that, did they also lock down the rosters to make sure that those children, right, weren't just magically moved, right, and they were transferred to another school?
Right.
Because guess what? If you're still looking for the 2 kids, then you didn't do that.
Right.
Because then you will find out somebody was missing school. Because
Right.
that's a big ass secret. Those kids are still holding in,
Right.
saying, because I mean, he probably told them here, bribed them with ice cream or money, and said, "Don't tell your mom we was at the park." Right?
Yep.
So, like, how did he get those kids to be quiet? But did they lock down the school system to see who was going to be missing school?
Right.
Or were those kids sent to school and had strange behavior? Were they awfully quiet? Were
Right.
they not being as talkative as they were before?
Right.
You know, because maybe they said, "Be quiet." I mean, how would you know if you're still looking for the guy with the 2 kids? You would lock down the school system. There were 2 kids. One the age of Dulce almost, supposedly, like she said, allegedly. And then they were the same age as Manny and Dulce. Manny was attending school,
Right.
and so was
He was
Dulce.
over at that bookstore,
Uh-huh.
I think.
No, she was at the Buckshootum. He was over here at the,
At
the-
the Tri-County?
yeah,
Okay.
the one that she went to
Okay.
before she went to Buckshootum. That, what is that? The Gateway.
The Gateway. Well,
Because remember,
We used
that
to call
was,
it Tri-County.
she went to the ice cream shop that was across the street from the Gateway at
Right,
first.
right.
And they were closed.
right.
So she had to go back all the way over there to the Sunoco.
Right.
All those stores, but we went to the Sunoco. Pero como quiera, that's okay. Because, you know, there was a lot, you know. Anyway. So, that's my thing. That's my thingy. Did they lock down that dang on school system
I would
to
say
see
no.
any type of odd behavior with 2 kids
Right.
that were either siblings or kins, like cousins, or to
Maybe
each
they
other?
just came to visit in the area and
Right.
they just left.
That too. And that they were there.
Right.
That could have possibly been as well. But they still would have had to know in the park.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to like lock down other school systems throughout the county or whatever. But I'm wondering if they just did that for Bersham precisely.
I think it was just Birch.
I don't think they actually did the schools. And I don't think they did
I don't
any
think
of
they
that.
did the schools either.
I don't think they did that. But it would have just been a great. It would have been because guess what? Because guess what? It would have been easy for them because guess what? They have everything political in its mother over there at Buckshootum Road.
Oh, of course.
So, and remember on that day also, they rebooted the school system. So the school system went under a new reboot system on that day also. And they were looking for a new groundskeeper as well. They were looking for a new groundskeeper a couple days before, and they said they didn't need to have no experience. I have the British flyer to that. So who did they hire?
Right. Y'all be keeping it hush hush.
Yeah. So with that said, because we got like 3 more minutes, so we're gonna end this. Uh, those are questions
Right.
that I have, and they might be like little and stupid and minor, right? But like sometimes if you're like researching the same thing over and over again, and you're like, what else can I do differently? Try that.
Right.
Try locating a couple kids
Right.
that they don't have to be brothers and sisters. They could have been cousins.
Yeah.
They could have been one was his kid and the other one was his niece. Or that could have been his daughter.
No.
Or that well that too. But no, because it didn't ring bells nowhere else. No two other kids
Right.
were missing at that time.
Right.
But either way, did they find two pairs of kids that were linked to the same family, right?
Right.
That didn't attend school,
Right.
at least for the week that those disappeared, and then could have came back Monday or relocated during that time,
Right.
you know? But hey, like I said, if they don't have anywhere else to go with, try checking maybe the school systems. Well, it's 2019 and we're what in 2024.
It's
So
like almost 5 years.
I mean, hell, you could still find records though.
But the school should have records. They should still have all those records.
Right, from 2019, from the
Yeah.
kids that attended each and every schools. Each and every one of them that's there. There's not that many in Bershon.
No.
I mean, even the church ones, like those Catholic ones that they go to school también, those,
There's only
even
one
those,
Catholic church over there in Bridgeton. that
even
has
those
school.
churchy schools, you know, like,
The other ones didn't find them. There's no other. There's only that one.
do they have like a
Besides
charter?
Hopewell.
Do they have a charter school up there as well? Like how they
Bershon?
have Violin and they got one in Millville?
I don't think Bridgeton has one. I don't think Bridgeton ever had one. Not that time.
Not at that time. So that's their avenue, since they don't got nothing else to do. That's the avenue that they should be taking right now, is seeing if they can pull up some records and attendance and see who was lacking school that time.
They're not going to take our advice.
Oh, absolutely not. They're not gonna do that.
We
Either
want the
way,
community
I did
help.
mention it though to somebody before, and they was like, "That's a good idea," but I don't think that they did that because that's like too much work. And I'm like, not really, because like if you utilize the receptionist people that are there, right, and the superintendents and all of that stuff to do teamwork makes the dream work. So you call them up and you be like, "Hey, I got this girl. She was missing from here, and I'm looking for two children, two kids, any kid that missed school during September 17 or has relocated after she disappeared. I need all records, even the emergency contact, because I need to speak to everyone
Right.
that is involved with a child who missed school that week.
Right.
Bring them all in.
Mm-hmm.
Line them up
Yep.
in a bus. That would be a great start.
Yep.
And that's only, we would hope and pray that those kids belong to the Christian school system.
Right. Yeah. Of course.
But the only ones that would remember if they was there would probably be the older child
Right.
or the parents that they went
But
to the
like
park
you
that
said,
day.
no one came forward, so.
Nope. Oh, all right. So we're ending it. It's 8:01. So next week on Friday, the 3/8, 24. We're going to be doing episode 6. We're actually going to be talking a lot more about the Amber Alert and the media coverage.
Right.
Like that, I always said it, that the Amber Alert played a huge part in how further along that she got. So we're going to be discussing all of that basically about the Amber Alert and how the media covered Dulce's story,
Right.
because there was a lot of that as well. Errors. In
Lot of errors.
trial and error. Okay?
Yes, yes.
All right. So thank you guys for tuning in. We are done. And as usual, we will see you next Friday. And on top of that, if you guys have any comments or you have anything that you want to speak about, or you want to even come into the live and talk with us next Friday, inbox us, let us know. And we will definitely bring you on so you can say your little part of your story if you want to, and your feelings on Dulce's case or about the Amber Alert.
Yeah.
About
That's
the Amber Alert.
important.
Right. So,
All
that's
right,
all I say.
give it up. Give it up for Miss Brenda and Miss Anna. They've done a phenomenal job today. Thank you, ladies. Thank you for blessing the channel with your presence. Thanks for everyone who tuned in. All yous that smashed on that like button, I appreciate you. If you're watching the replay, feel free to smash on that like button. Tune in next week for episode 6. We're gonna be delving into the Amber Alert and all the media coverage and all that good stuff. All right. So with that said, my good peoples, we'll catch y'all next week. Peace. Is being broke ruining your life? Trust me, I know what it's like. Man, there's nothing more frustrating than having a felony. And to make matters even worse, no one hires felons. What you really need is cash flow to quickly get yourself back on board. So it's my pleasure to give you access to my newsletter. You see, I've been helping people learn internet marketing for over 15 years. And my newsletter means that for free, you get access to daily free internet marketing training. Plus, if you have any questions or you get stuck, you can pick up the phone and call or text me, so help is never far away. So, you've really got nothing to lose and a lifetime of cash flow and happiness to gain. So click the button below now to start receiving all of my free goodies.